The sound of strangers laughing in my childhood bedroom jolted me awake from a decade of careful silence. I stood frozen in the hallway, watching through the open door as a man and woman picked through my life, holding up pieces of my past like bargain hunt treasures. My name is Phoebe, and I hadn't planned on coming home today, but sometimes the universe has other plans. Oh, look, more journals. The woman held up my old diary, its spine cracked from years of late-night confessions. She tossed it into a box labeled trash in my mother's precise handwriting. I cleared my throat. The couple spun around, startled. Sorry, the man said, running a hand through his disheveled hair. We bought the contents of this room through Second Life. The listing said everything had to go by today. Did it? My voice remained steady, though my hands trembled slightly. And who listed it? Laura Bryant, the woman replied, checking her phone. She was very insistent about the timeline. Of course she was. Mother always did have perfect timing, usually perfectly awful. Harvey Armstrong. The man stepped forward, extending his hand. And this is my sister, Kate. We run a vintage furniture shop downtown. I shook his hand, noting the gentle way he held mine, like he sensed something fragile in the air. Phoebe, I used to live here. Used to? My mother's voice cut through the room like an icy wind. She stood in the doorway, perfectly coiffed as always, her disapproval radiating in waves. What are you doing here? Surprise visit, I said, watching her face tighten. Thought I'd see how wedding preparations were going. Vienna's wedding is none of your concern, she snapped. You made that clear when you declined the invitation. Harvey and Kate exchanged uncomfortable glances, clearly sensing the tension. We'll just... Harvey gestured toward the boxes. Should we continue, or... Yes, please, Mother said firmly. Everything must go. We're renovating for the after-party space. I walked to the trash box, picking up my diary. Mind if I look through these first? They're sold, Mother said. Part of the deal. Harvey stepped forward. Actually, we'd be happy to let you. No exceptions. Mother cut him off. Now, Phoebe, if you'll excuse us, I have a wedding planner meeting in 20 minutes. I nodded slowly, my fingers trailing along the wall as I walked toward my old closet. The loose panel was still there, hidden behind where my winter coats used to hang. I discovered it as a teenager, used it to hide treasures from Vienna's sticky fingers. Fine, I said, turning back. I'll leave you to it. Mother was already gone, her heels clicking down the hallway like a countdown. Harvey caught my eye, something like understanding in his expression. Here, he said quietly, sliding my diary from the box and pressing it into my hands. I didn't see this. I clutched the book, feeling its familiar weight. Thank you. As I turned to leave, something caught my eye, a corner of yellowed paper peeking from behind the closet panel. I waited until Harvey and Kate were distracted with the furniture before slipping it free. It was an envelope, thick with legal documents. My grandmother's elegant handwriting across the front. For Phoebe, when the time comes. My phone buzzed, a social media notification. Vienna's latest wedding update. Paris bound, can't wait to marry the love of my life in the city of dreams. Future Bryant, bride, Parisian princess. I clicked the link only to find I'd been blocked from viewing her profile. Of course. Looking down at the envelope, then back at my old room being dismantled piece by piece, a strange calm settled over me. Mother always said I was too quiet, too passive, nothing like Vienna's sparkle and drive. She never understood that quiet waters run deep. Harvey, I called out, making a decision. Would you like to grab a coffee sometime? I have some stories about this house that might interest you. He looked up from wrapping my old desk lamp, curiosity brightening his face. I'd like that. I slipped the envelope into my bag and walked out, leaving my diary behind. I didn't need it anymore. The real story was just beginning. From downstairs, I heard Mother on the phone. Yes, darling, everything's on schedule. The room will be perfect for your homecoming party. No one will even remember it was ever, well, you know. I smiled, feeling the weight of the envelope against my hip. Oh, Mother, they were going to remember everything. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold, it's served with perfect timing. And I had learned from the best, hadn't I? I closed the front door quietly behind me, already planning my next move. After all, I had a wedding to prepare for, too, just not the one they were expecting. Your grandmother was quite thorough, Mr. Peters said, adjusting his reading glasses as he examined the will. This document is completely legitimate. The house has been yours for over a year. I sat in his law office, sunlight streaming through tall windows, illuminating dust motes that danced like my scattered memories. Why wasn't I notified? According to our records, we sent multiple notices. He shuffled through a folder. All returned as undeliverable. Let me guess. My mother was handling my mail while I was overseas? He nodded grimly. Mrs. Bryant assured us she would forward everything. The memory of my last conversation with Grandma Sylvia flooded back. It was 3 weeks before she passed, and we were sitting in her garden, the roses she'd tended for 40 years blooming around us. Remember, sweet girl, she'd said, patting my hand, sometimes the quietest person in the room holds all the cards. Your mother never understood that about either of us. Did you know, I asked Mr. Peters, about the room sale? He frowned. That's actually why I asked you to come in today. There are irregularities in your grandfather's trust fund. What kind of irregularities? He pulled out another document. Large withdrawals began 6 months ago. The trust was specifically designated for you, with strict conditions for access. Your mother shouldn't have been able to touch it. Let me guess. Paris is expensive this time of year. The timing does coincide with your sister's wedding expenses. I leaned forward. How much? When he showed me the number, my hands clenched involuntarily. That wasn't just wedding money. That was my future, carved up and served like party favors at Vienna's reception. There's more, Mr. Peters continued, as your grandmother left specific instructions about the house. It was meant to become a community space for literary archives and historical preservation. Of course it was. Grandma Sylvia had always understood my passion for preserving stories, even when Mother dismissed it as hiding in dusty books. My phone buzzed, a text from Harvey. Found something interesting in one of the journals? Coffee. Mr. Peters, I said, standing, I need copies of everything, and I mean everything. An hour later, I sat across from Harvey in a quiet cafe, watching him pull my old diary from his messenger bag. I know I shouldn't have kept this, he said, but something fell out while we were moving boxes. He slid a photograph across the table. It showed Mother, young and radiant, standing in front of a building I didn't recognize. She was holding a stack of books, beaming at the camera. The sign behind her read, Bryant Literary Society. Turn it over, Harvey said softly. On the back in faded ink, Laura's Dream, opening day. If only Eugene would understand. Who's Eugene? Harvey asked. My grandfather. I traced the words with my finger. Mother never mentioned wanting to open a bookstore. There's more. Harvey pulled out his phone, showing me his research. The Bryant Literary Society was set to open in 1992, but something happened. The building was sold, and your mother married my father instead, I finished, and had me. Your grandmother's will, the literary archive requirement. It wasn't random, was it? I shook my head, pieces clicking into place. Mother resented everything about books after that. When I majored in literature, let me guess, she wasn't thrilled? She said I was throwing my life away, just like she. I stopped, realization dawning, just like she thought she had. Harvey leaned back, journalist's instinct clearly engaged. So she pushed Vienna in the opposite direction, social media, public relations, always in the spotlight, while I was the reminder of everything she gave up. I pulled out the documents from Mr. Peters. Want to see something interesting? Harvey's eyes widened as he read. This is proof of fraud, evidence that she sold something that wasn't hers, documentation that she stole my inheritance to fund the golden child's perfect wedding. I smiled. Yes to all of the above. What are you going to do? I took a sip of my coffee, remembering Grandma Sylvia's roses, how they looked delicate but had thorns that could draw blood. First, I'm going to let them have their perfect Paris wedding. Let them post every filtered photo, every staged moment, every carefully curated lie. And then I'm going to do exactly what my grandmother wanted. Turn that house into something meaningful, something that honors stories instead of burying them. They won't go quietly, Harvey warned. No, I agreed, but neither will I. Not this time. My phone buzzed again. Mother, surprisingly. Vienna's wedding planner needs to know if you're still a no. Last chance to be part of this family. I showed Harvey the message. He raised an eyebrow. Are you? Oh, I'm already part of the family, I said, gathering the documents. They just don't know which part yet. I typed my response. Don't worry about me, Mother. I'll be home when it matters most. You know, Harvey said, watching me carefully, this could make quite a story. I met his gaze. Would you like to help me tell it? His slow smile was answer enough. Sometimes the best stories are the ones that write themselves, in legal documents, hidden photographs, and long buried truths. Mother always said I was too quiet. She forgot that silence is just the pause before the symphony begins. You wouldn't believe what I got for that junk, Mother's voice carried from the dining room as I quietly entered the house. Enough to replace all the fixtures in Vienna's party room with crystal. I paused in the hallway, listening to the tittering responses from what I assumed was her weekly brunch crowd. The clink of mimosa glasses punctuated their laughter. Laura, you're absolutely brilliant, someone gushed. Trading trash for treasure. Speaking of trash, Summer's voice cut in. Has anyone heard from Phoebe? My hand tightened on the empty box I'd brought to collect whatever remnants of my life Mother hadn't yet sold. Oh, she showed up uninvited the other day, Mother replied dismissively. Always did have terrible timing. I stepped into the doorway, making sure my smile was perfectly pleasant. Hello, Mother, ladies. The room froze. Summer nearly dropped her champagne flute. Mother's face performed its usual gymnastics routine, surprise to annoyance to forced politeness in under 3 seconds. Phoebe, she said tightly, we're planning wedding details. Don't mind me, I replied, holding up my box. Just here to see if Harvey left anything behind. Harvey? Summer perked up. The cute furniture buyer? The very same. I started toward the stairs, then paused. Oh, Mother, you might want to check your listing agreement. I believe there's a clause about personal documents. Before she could respond, the doorbell rang. Through the frosted glass, I recognized Harvey's silhouette. I'll get it, I called out, ignoring Mother's protest. Harvey stood on the porch, looking professional in a blazer despite the summer heat. Perfect timing? Impeccable, I whispered, letting him in. They're all here? We climbed the stairs together, aware of the sudden quiet from the dining room. In my old bedroom, now stripped bare except for a few boxes, Harvey pulled out his notebook. Found something interesting about your grandfather's trust, he said, voice low. The terms were specific. The money could only be accessed for educational or professional development purposes. A Paris wedding doesn't qualify? Not unless the Eiffel Tower recently became an accredited institution. I ran my hand along the empty bookshelf, remembering the volumes that once filled it. Mother always said I was wasting my potential in archives and libraries. Ironic that she's using my educational fund for Vienna's social media spectacle. Speaking of social media, Harvey pulled out his phone, showing me Vienna's latest post. My sister's perfectly filtered face beamed from the screen, standing in front of the Paris venue. The caption read, "Final fitting done. Can't wait to share this magical day with everyone who matters. Bryant, bride." No negative vibes. She blocked me, I noted, after she posted this. He swiped to another photo. Mother in Vienna holding champagne glasses, the Eiffel Tower behind them. The caption made my stomach turn. "So grateful Mom turned that dusty old room into my perfect homecoming space. Best mother ever. Blessed, not stressed." From downstairs, Mother's voice carried up, "Phoebe, your Uncle Jameson is on the phone. Something about Grandma Sylvia's estate." Harvey and I exchanged glances. "Right on schedule," he murmured. I descended the stairs slowly, taking the phone from Mother's outstretched hand. Her brunch guests watched with poorly concealed curiosity. "Uncle Jameson?" "Yes, I got the documents." "No, I haven't told them yet." "Yes, I understand the implications." Mother's face tightened with each word. Summer started typing frantically on her phone, probably updating Vienna in real time. "Of course," I continued, watching Mother's expression. "The trust fund audit should be complete by next week. Yes, I'll make sure everyone's informed." I handed the phone back to Mother, who had gone pale. "He'd like to speak with you about some unauthorized transactions." The brunch crowd suddenly found their phones fascinating, making hasty excuses to leave. Summer lingered last, looking between Mother and me with dawning understanding. "I should go," she said quietly. "Lots of maid of honor duties to handle." After they left, Mother turned to me, her voice sharp. "What are you doing?" "Nothing," I said innocently. "Just following up on Grandma's wishes. You remember those, don't you? The ones you tried to bury along with her will?" "You have no idea what you're talking about." "Don't I?" I pulled out my phone, showing her Vienna's post. "Funny how you're so proud of selling my things, but you never mentioned whose house you were selling them from." "This is my house, not according to the will." I nodded to Harvey, who had been quietly documenting everything. "Would you like to see the proof?" Mother's face hardened. "You're just jealous of Vienna's happiness. You always have been." "No, Mother, I'm just tired of being your second-rate daughter." I started toward the door, then turned back. "Oh, and when Vienna gets back from Paris, you might want to warn her about the fraud investigation. Stolen trust funds tend to complicate marriages." I left her standing there, Harvey following close behind. Outside, the summer air felt cleaner somehow. "You okay?" he asked softly. "I will be," I replied, watching Summer's car pull away. "The real show hasn't even started yet. And when it does—" I smiled, thinking of all the documents safely stored in my apartment. "Let's just say, Paris isn't the only place where things get revolutionary." "You want me to house sit?" I kept my voice neutral as Mother handed me the keys, her designer suitcase waiting by the door. "Vienna insisted," she said, though her tone suggested otherwise. "She's worried about leaving the house empty during the wedding week." How thoughtful of her. I pocketed the keys, noting how Mother flinched at the casual gesture. "And the alarm code?" "Still the same." She checked her phone. "Our flight leaves in 3 hours. Just don't touch anything in Vienna's party room. The designers are coming next week to finish it. Of course not, I smiled. Have a wonderful time in Paris. As soon as her taxi pulled away, I walked through each room of the house, trailing my fingers along familiar walls. The place felt different now, knowing it was legally mine. Each creak of the floorboards seemed to whisper secrets. My phone buzzed. A text from Harvey. How's it going? Just got the keys, I replied. Want to help me with something? He arrived 30 minutes later, carrying coffee and a curious expression. So what's the plan? I led him to the attic access panel in the hallway ceiling. Mother always said this space was too dangerous to enter. Want to guess why? Harvey helped me pull down the ladder. Because that's where all the bodies are buried? Metaphorically speaking, yes. The attic air was thick with dust and hidden things. I moved purposefully toward the back corner where a locked trunk sat beneath years of holiday decorations. Your mother's? Harvey asked, watching me pull out a small key. Grandfather's. The lock clicked open. He was a lawyer, kept everything. Inside, organized with legal precision, lay decades of financial records, correspondence, and family documents. I pulled out a thick folder labeled Trust Accounts, Confidential. Look at this, I said, showing Harvey a document. Mother tried to access this trust 3 times before grandfather died. He denied her every time. Because it was meant for you? Because he knew she'd do exactly what she's doing now. I handed him another paper. This is from last month. Notice anything strange? Harvey studied it. The signature. It's not the same as the others. Grandfather died 2 years ago. Mother forged his signature to access the trust. That's a serious crime. One of many. I continued sorting through papers, finding exactly what I expected. Birth certificates, property deeds, tax records. She kept everything she might need to maintain control. But she didn't count on your grandmother outmaneuvering her. No, I smiled, remembering Grandma Sylvia's knowing looks. She didn't. My phone chimed, a social media alert. Vienna had posted a photo of their first-class seats, champagne glasses raised. Paris bound, au revoir to all this drama. Sad Bryant bride first-class life. Drama? Harvey read over my shoulder. I thought she didn't know about any of this yet. She doesn't. I showed him a message from Summer. Hey, P, just wanted you to know I haven't told V anything. But what your mom did, it's not right. Harvey whistled low. Looks like the maid of honor is having second thoughts. Mother's perfect plan is starting to crack. I stood brushing dust from my jeans. Time for phase 2. Which is? I pulled out my phone, dialing a number. Hi, yes, I need a locksmith. Emergency service. Yes, today if possible. Multiple locks need changing. Harvey's eyebrows shot up. You're changing the locks? Just securing what's legally mine. I ended the call. The locksmith will be here in an hour. Want to help me with something else while we wait? We spent the next 45 minutes in my old room, now Vienna's party space, carefully documenting every item, every receipt, every piece of evidence showing what had been sold without permission. Your sister's going to lose it when she finds out, Harvey noted, photographing a designer lamp that had replaced my reading light. Vienna's always been good at losing things, I replied. Her temper, her perspective, other people's money. The doorbell rang, the locksmith arriving early. As I led him through the house, pointing out each lock that needed changing, I felt a strange sense of peace settling over me. You know, Harvey said as we watched the locksmith work, this would make an amazing story. Family inheritance, hidden wills, fraud, revenge. Is that your journalist side talking? Maybe? He smiled. But it's also the human side. People should know about this kind of financial abuse. I thought about all the documents upstairs, all the evidence of Mother's careful manipulation. Would you help me tell it? That's what I do. He pulled out his notebook. Where should we start? At the beginning, I said, watching the locksmith install another new deadbolt, with a quiet daughter who finally found her voice. My phone buzzed again, Mother this time. Landed in Paris. Everything okay there? I looked at the new keys in my hand, thinking of all the locks yet to change, all the truths yet to reveal. Everything's perfect, I texted back. Just taking care of the house, like you taught me. Harvey caught my smile. Ready for what comes next? More than ready, I replied, pocketing the new keys. Some things are worth waiting for. The sound of car doors slamming announced their return from Paris. I stood in the foyer, champagne flute in hand, watching through the window as Mother helped Vienna up the front steps. My sister's designer heels weren't made for walking, even on perfectly level ground. Welcome home, I called out as they struggled with the new lock. Need help? Why isn't my key working? Vienna demanded, her voice carrying through the door. I opened it slowly, enjoying their confused expressions. Security upgrade. Here, let me. They swept past me into the house, trailing expensive luggage and duty-free shopping bags. Vienna's new husband, Marcus, followed with a harried expression that suggested the honeymoon hadn't been entirely blissful. What are you doing here? Mother's eyes narrowed at the champagne setup. Hosting the welcome party, of course. I gestured to the perfectly arranged living room, where Harvey was setting up his camera equipment with practiced discretion. You did ask me to house sit. Who's he? Vienna pointed at Harvey. And what's with the camera? Documenting the happy homecoming, I smiled. For posterity. More guests began arriving. Vienna's friends, Mother's social circle, even Uncle Jameson, who gave me a knowing nod as he entered. Summer hung back, avoiding Vienna's attempts to catch her eye. Oh my God! Vienna's shriek echoed from upstairs. The party room looks amazing! I followed the crowd up to my old bedroom. The space had been transformed, not into the gaudy showcase Mother had planned, but into something elegant and meaningful. My old books lined rebuilt shelves, family photos hung in careful arrangements, and Grandma Sylvia's antique desk sat proudly by the window. What happened to my crystal fixtures? Mother's voice could have frozen fire. The designer furniture. I restored it, I said simply, to its proper state. You had no right. Actually, I raised my voice slightly, drawing everyone's attention. I had every right. Would anyone like to know why? Harvey's camera whirred quietly, capturing Mother's face as it shifted from anger to fear. Phoebe, she warned, don't. Don't what? Don't tell everyone how you sold my belongings without permission. Don't mention how you hid Grandma's will, or should I not bring up the trust fund you embezzled to pay for this lovely Paris wedding? The room went silent. Vienna's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. What trust fund? She whispered. I pulled the documents from Grandma's desk drawer, passing them around. The one grandfather set up for my education and future, the one Mother accessed illegally to fund your social media fairy tale. That's ridiculous. Mother stepped forward. This is my house. No, Uncle Jameson spoke up. It's not. Hasn't been for over a year. Show them, Phoebe. I distributed copies of the will, watching as realization dawned on face after face. Summer was already typing furiously on her phone, no doubt updating her own social media with the unfolding drama. You knew. Vienna turned to Mother, her perfect makeup starting to smear. You knew this wasn't your house when you sold Phoebe's things? I did it for you. Mother reached for her, but Vienna stepped back. Everything I've done has been for you. Including fraud? I asked pleasantly. The trust fund paperwork shows your forged signatures quite clearly. The police should find that interesting. The police? Marcus spoke for the first time, looking pale. Vienna, what's going on? Your wedding, I explained, was funded with stolen money. That could complicate things legally. Fraud tends to void contracts, including marriage licenses. Vienna's perfect facade cracked. Mother, tell me this isn't true. But Mother was staring at Harvey's camera, finally understanding. You planned this, all of it. No, Mother, you planned it. I'm just making sure everyone sees the truth. I turned to the gathered crowd. The house is mine, legally and morally. You all have 30 minutes to finish your drinks and leave. Mother Vienna, you have 60 days to find new accommodation. You can't do this. Mother's voice shook. We're family. Family? I laughed softly. Family doesn't sell each other's memories for crystal fixtures. Family doesn't hide wills or steal inheritances. Family doesn't block their sister on social media while spending her money. Summer stepped forward, handing Vienna her phone. It's trending already. Bryant wedding scandal. Vienna sank onto my old window seat, scrolling through the comments with horror. Mother stood frozen, watching her carefully constructed world crumble. The party's over, I announced to the room. But don't worry, I'm sure someone will post about it. Guests began filing out, whispering among themselves. Harvey kept filming, capturing every moment of the implosion. Uncle Jameson stayed by my side, a silent support. Phoebe. Mother tried one last time. Please. You should have thought about please when you were throwing my life in the trash, I replied calmly. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to finish planning the house's conversion into a literary archive. It's what Grandma wanted after all. I walked out, leaving them surrounded by evidence of their own betrayals. Sometimes karma doesn't need help, it just needs an audience. And thanks to Harvey's camera, this audience was going viral. The fallout was swift and merciless. Within 24 hours of Harvey's footage going live, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. Mother's carefully curated social circle was unraveling one group chat at a time. Have you seen this? Harvey showed me his laptop screen over coffee. The local news had picked up the story. Social media wedding dreams turned to nightmare. Fraud investigation launched. Vienna's trying to get ahead of it, Summer said, sliding into the seat beside us. She'd shown up at my apartment that morning looking exhausted. She's claiming she had no idea about the money. Did she? Harvey asked, journalist mode engaged. Summer twisted her wedding ring, maid of honor gift, looking uncomfortable. I don't. I mean, she must have wondered where all that money came from, right? My phone lit up with a text from Marcus. We need to talk, privately. Looks like the groom has questions. I showed them the message. He's not the only one. Summer pulled out a thick envelope. These arrived at my office this morning. The Paris venue is demanding proof of payment sources, something about international banking regulations. Harvey whistled low. The dominoes are falling. Speaking of falling, Summer pulled up Instagram. Your mother's trying damage control. Mother's latest post showed her in the garden, perfectly posed among Grandma's roses. Family disagreements are never easy, but love conquers all. Family first. Truth will prevail. The comments are brutal, Summer noted. Before I could respond, Uncle Jameson called, Phoebe, turn on Channel 7, now. We huddled around Harvey's laptop as he pulled up the local news live stream. Mother stood at a podium outside her real estate office, tears glistening perfectly. My daughter's accusations are completely false, she declared. This is a sad attempt to tarnish her sister's beautiful wedding. The house has always been mine. Then explain this, a reporter called out, holding up copies of the will. These documents show clear evidence. Those papers are fabricated, Mother cut in smoothly, just like the trust fund allegations. My daughters have always been provided for equally. The feed cut to a split screen, showing Vienna and Marcus leaving their lawyer's office. Vienna's designer sunglasses couldn't hide her red eyes. No comment, she snapped at reporters. But my mother better have answers about this trust fund. My marriage is at stake. Trouble in paradise already? Harvey mused. My phone buzzed again. An email from Mr. Peters. Official notice of eviction has been served. 60 days starting today. Summer read it over my shoulder. What will they do? Mother has a beach house in Florida, I replied. She'll be fine. That's not what I meant. Summer met my eyes. Vienna's whole life was built on this image. The perfect daughter, the fairy tale wedding, the social media influence deals. It's all crashing down. Actions have consequences, I said, but something in Summer's expression made me pause. What aren't you telling me? She pulled out her phone, opening her messages. Vienna's been texting me all morning. She's not okay, Phoebe. I read through the texts, increasingly desperate messages about Marcus threatening annulment, sponsors pulling deals, friends unfollowing her. The last one simply said, I don't know who I am anymore. Karma's a mirror, Harvey said quietly. Sometimes it shows us things we're not ready to see. My phone lit up again, Mother calling. After 3 days of silence, this should be interesting. I put it on speaker. How dare you serve us with eviction papers, she hissed. Your sister's having a breakdown. That's not my responsibility. No? Then whose is it? I did everything for you girls. No, Mother, you did everything for your image. There's a difference. Please, her voice cracked. Just tell me what you want. Money? Public apology? Name it. I want exactly what Grandma wanted, the truth. All of it, starting with why you really hid her will. Silence stretched across the line. Finally, Mother whispered, You don't understand what she did to me. Then help me understand. No cameras, no social media, just truth. Another long pause. The garden, tonight, just us. She hung up before I could respond. Are you going? Summer asked. I looked at Harvey, who had been quietly taking notes. Will you be nearby, just in case? He nodded. Always. Summer stood to leave, then turned back. Phoebe? Despite everything, thank you for showing me what real strength looks like. After she left, Harvey closed his laptop. Ready for the final act? I thought about Mother's garden where Grandma's roses still bloomed, about Vienna's desperate texts, about truth and consequences and the weight of family legacy. You know what's strange? I said. I thought revenge would feel better than this. Maybe because it's not about revenge anymore, Harvey suggested. Maybe it's about restoration. My phone chimed one last time, a text from Vienna. I remember when you used to read to me in that room before everything got so wrong. I miss that, sister. I showed Harvey the message. He squeezed my hand. Sometimes the hardest walls to break down are the ones we built ourselves. Tonight, I said, we find out if they're ready to build something new instead. Mother was already in the garden when I arrived, sitting among Grandma's roses like a fallen queen. Vienna sat beside her, makeup-free for the first time I could remember. They both looked smaller somehow, stripped of their usual armor. You came? Mother said softly. You promised the truth? I remained standing. Start with the will. Mother touched a rose petal, her fingers trembling slightly. Your grandmother. She knew about the trust fund. about what I'd been doing. Taking money that wasn't yours. Building a future for Vienna, she corrected sharply, then deflated. At least that's what I told myself. Tell her everything, Mother, Vienna whispered. Please. Mother's perfectly maintained facade cracked. Your grandmother had dreams for this house, literary programs, community outreach, everything I once wanted for myself. When she left it to you, it felt like history repeating itself. What do you mean? I was supposed to open a bookstore, Mother's voice caught. Your grandfather promised to help fund it, but then he changed his mind, said I was too irresponsible. He set up trust funds instead, controlling everything just like always. So you hid Grandma's will to punish her? I asked. Or to punish me? I hid it because I couldn't bear to see another literary dream succeed where mine failed. The words burst out like long-trapped birds. And then I found out about the trust fund Eugene left you. The one you stole from. Vienna flinched. I didn't know, Phoebe, about any of it, I swear. Didn't know or didn't want to know? Both, she admitted. I was so caught up in being perfect, in being what Mother wanted. What I wanted, Mother interrupted, was to never see either of you struggle like I did. But I became exactly what I hated, controlling, manipulative. A thief, I finished. Yes. She met my eyes for the first time. Yes, I stole from you. Your money, your memories, your relationship with your sister. I can't undo that. Marcus wants an annulment, Vienna said quietly. Says he won't be party to fraud. All my sponsorship deals are canceled. My whole life is just gone. Not gone, I corrected. Just change, like this house will be. Mother straightened. About that, I have something to show you. She pulled out an old leather portfolio, its edges worn with age. Inside were architectural drawings, business plans, and a faded sign design, Bryant Literary Society. My dream, she said simply. Maybe it's time it belonged to someone who can actually make it real. Mother? Vienna looked confused. The house is Phoebe's, Mother said firmly, and she'll do what I never could, create something meaningful from all these books and memories. And what about you? I asked. I'll face whatever consequences come, the fraud investigation, the social fallout. I earned it all. Vienna stood suddenly. I have to go. Marcus says we need to talk. She hurried away, heels wobbling on the garden path. Mother watched her go with tired eyes. She'll be okay, I found myself saying. She's stronger than you let her be. Like you were? Mother's smile was bitter. I spent so long trying to make her everything I lost. I never saw what I was losing in you. My phone buzzed. Harvey checking in. I ignored it for now. The Literary Center, I said. Grandma knew about your dream, didn't she? That's why she left the house to me. Mother nodded. She said you had my old soul, but a stronger spine. She was right. Then help me build it. She looked up sharply. What? Not as an owner, but as someone who once dreamed the same dream. Help me make it real, the right way this time. After everything I did? Consider it community service, I said dryly. Better than jail time. For the first time in years, Mother laughed. A real laugh, not her social titter. Your grandmother would have loved that. She did love irony. We sat in silence among the roses, the weight of truth settling around us like evening dew. Finally, Mother spoke again. I'm sorry, Phoebe, not just for the money or the will, but for making you feel less than. You were always more than I could understand. I know, I said simply. That's why I had to show you. My phone buzzed again, this time with a text from Vienna. Can we talk tomorrow? About books, maybe? And sisters? Mother saw my small smile. Second chances are harder than revenge, you know. Yes, I agreed, standing to leave, but they make better stories. I left her in the garden, surrounded by Grandma's roses and decades of buried dreams. Harvey was waiting at the gate, camera forgotten for once. How did it go? Like endings usually do, I said. Messy, painful, and possibly hopeful. He took my hand as we walked away. Behind us, Mother started deadheading the roses, removing the spent blooms to let new ones grow. Sometimes karma isn't about punishment. Sometimes it's about pruning away what's dead to save what might still bloom. The moving truck pulled away, leaving Mother and Vienna standing on the sidewalk with their remaining possessions. 60 days had passed like a slow exhale. Need help with those? I asked, nodding to their suitcases. Marcus's driver will be here soon, Vienna said. She looked different in jeans and a plain sweater, more like the sister I used to know. He's letting me stay at the lake house while the annulment processes. And you? I turned to Mother. Florida, she said simply. The beach house needs work anyway. Harvey appeared in the doorway, carrying a box of old photographs we'd found in the attic. Where do you want these, Phoebe? The reading room, I said, with Grandma's albums. Mother's eyes followed him inside. The renovations are coming along. The Bryant Literary Center opens next month. I watched her face carefully. Unless you object to the name? No, she smiled faintly. It's fitting, though not in the way I once imagined. Vienna picked up her designer handbag, the last of her wedding gifts. I sold most of them back. The money's in your account. Keep it, I said. Start something new. Like what? She laughed shakily. All I know how to do is look perfect on Instagram. That's not true. I pulled a small package from my pocket. Remember these? Inside were dozens of tiny paper books, stories Vienna had written and illustrated when we were kids, before Mother steered her toward more marketable pursuits. You kept them? Her voice cracked. Found them behind that loose panel, along with this. I handed her a business card for a children's book publisher. Harvey's sister works there. She'd love to meet you. A car pulled up, Marcus's driver right on time. I should go. Vienna hugged me quickly. But maybe we could talk about story ideas sometime. I'd like that. After she left, Mother stood awkwardly on the porch. The literary center. Will it have writing programs? Creative writing, business planning, financial literacy, I listed. Everything someone might need to build their dreams legally. She winced at the jab, but nodded. Good. That's good. Summer appeared with another box of books. These donations just came in. Where should I? Reading room, I directed. Harvey will show you. Mother watched them go. You've built quite a team. People tend to support honest endeavors. She picked up her last bag. I left something for you in the garden. After she was gone, I found it among Grandma's roses, Mother's old leather portfolio filled with her bookstore dreams with a note attached. Some dreams need new dreamers to make them real. Am sorry I tried to bury yours. Love, Mom. Inside the house, Harvey and Summer were organizing books while Uncle Jameson installed new shelving. The space hummed with purpose. Found something interesting, Harvey called out, holding up an old journal. Your first story, about two sisters who built a castle of books. Vienna illustrated it, I remembered, before everything got complicated. Life has a way of doing that, Summer said. Complicating things. And uncomplicating them, Harvey added, pulling me close. My phone buzzed, the text from Vienna. Found my old art supplies, think it's too late to start drawing again? Never too late, I typed back. The reading room needs illustrations. Uncle Jameson stepped back, admiring the shells. Your grandmother would have loved this. She did, I said. That's why she made it possible. The doorbell rang, our first donation drop-off of the day. Local families had been bringing books all week, each with a story about what reading meant to them. Ready? Harvey asked, camera ready to document another milestone. I looked around at what my old bedroom had become, not a shrine to social media perfection, but a sanctuary of stories waiting to be told. You know what's funny, I said. Mother always said I was too quiet, but sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one writing the story. Summer laughed. And what a story this turned out to be. It's not finished, I replied, opening the door to welcome more books, more stories, more possibilities. The best ones never are. My phone lit up again. Mother had posted one final time. Some dreams take a lifetime to build, others take a lifetime to let go. Proud to announce the upcoming Bryant Literary Center, where new dreams begin. Full circle. For once, I didn't mind her using social media. Some stories deserve to be shared. Harvey caught my smile. Happy ending? No, I said, watching another car pull up with boxes of books to donate. Happy beginning. I picked up my grandmother's old journal, empty pages waiting to be filled. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying what hurt you. Sometimes it's about building something better in its place. The door stayed open, welcoming anyone who needed a story to read, to write, or to begin again. After all, that's what Grandma's roses taught us. Every ending is just another chance to bloom.